green light, the window for federal employees to accept the Musk-Trump administration buyout offer closed. More than 73,000 people elected to leave. Hamas now says it will release the next group of.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the WSJM video live stream. I'm Ken Lundberg. Sorry, we're just going to get right into it. Is that okay? So let's do some studio setup first. So grab that microphone there and just gently do this to it. Yeah, right like that. Perfect. You're doing the same. Perfect. Very good. And then yours is a little easier. You can bring yours up. Yeah, bring yours up. Here, just do this to the center section. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. We're not on the radio yet. We're just on the video live stream. So we've got a couple minutes. Do you have any questions for me about how this is going to go? How much did he have to pay you to get you in here this morning? Nothing. Nice. Let me make sure I've got your microphone on. Let me see here. So for those of you on the video live stream, I'm just resetting the microphone because we have a number of guests in here, and we're very happy to do that. Okay. I think I've got your microphone on. Why don't we start over here? Give me your name so that I know who we're introducing to the audience.
My name is Jason Kading, and I am the lead mentor for Bridgman Beebotics.
Okay. Could you spell your last name for me, please?
Kaeding.
Okay, Jason Kading, and you're the lead mentor.
Yes, sir.
I love the name Beebotics, by the way. Who came up with that?
Well, it was kind of all of it. We talked, and well, we're the Bridgman Bees, so
yeah.
It's robotics, so we wanted to include both
Makes
bees
sense.
and bots. So
yeah,
kind of
perfect.
Beebotics was just
made. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, straightforward. Beebotics. Yeah, the bees, the robotics. Give me your name and the spelling of your last name, please.
I am Kyle Kading.
Okay. So Kaeding.
Yeah.
Okay. Any relation to the mentor over here?
Yeah, he's my dad.
Okay. All right. What's your role on the team?
I am team captain so I drive the robot at competitions.
Oh, cool.
But I've also done a lot of stuff in like build, design, programming, and electrical.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get into all of that stuff and how you got into that, and I'm already impressed. Your name. It's Levi.
Levi Thomas.
Thomas, and Levi is Levi.
Yep.
Okay. And what's your role on the team?
Lead technician.
Lead technician. Okay. Okay. Great. We're going to have a good conversation, and I'm just going to ask you a little bit about who you are, your backgrounds, what got you interested in it, and everything else, what we can expect with Reefscape. I saw the video. It involves water, right? You got to do stuff underwater.
Well, there's no actual water, but
no actual water. Oh man! All right.
I know.
No, that's good. I think that's a safety issue, right? We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a moment. I got to get back on the air here. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
On the air. All right. Good morning. It's 7:05. It's the WSJM Morning Show. It's one of my favorite days of the week. It's Thursday, February 13th. And the guests that we have in the studio this morning, we're just starting our conversation here in just a moment. We're going to be visiting with the Bridgman Robotics team. They're known as the Beebotics because they're the Bridgman Bees, and they do robotics, so it's the Beebotics. We've already understood that. We've learned that here. And so we'll be having a conversation. It's part of our Robotics Roundtable, where we learn a little bit more about the teams themselves who are in First Robotics, what inspired them to get involved, and what we can expect as we see them compete in Reefscape, which is First Robotics. First, we're going to get some news, though. So we'll and by the way, if you want to join this on the video live stream, we do have that available as well. And I'm going to have you adjust your microphone just a little bit down. Sorry, Jason, because it's blocking my camera. Okay, just like that. Perfect. Okay, sorry about that. All right, temperature outside right now, 25 degrees in Benton Harbor, 28 in St. Joseph with some snowfall. South Haven, 23 degrees, 20 in Dowagiac and in New Buffalo. it's 27 degrees. Some of the forecast for today does call for mostly cloudy skies, a 40% chance of lake effect snow showers. A high today around 25 degrees, but it's gonna go down. We're gonna fall into the upper teens by late afternoon, and winds are going to come out of the west 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, cold temperatures. Overnight, we're going to get down to single digits. The low is predicted to be around 3 degrees. Southeast winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. You're going to need to wear a coat outside. Friday's forecast, partly sunny, increasing clouds, snow likely. We've got a 70% chance of snow on Friday and Friday night. High around 25 degrees and south winds 10 to 20. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we still have a chance of precipitation. Saturday is going to be the messy one. We're looking at cloudy skies with a 70% chance of a freezing rain, snow mix. That's Saturday. The high is going to be around 35 and low around 25 degrees. Some of the news that we're following today from the WSJM newsroom, the Lincoln Township Board of Trustees is moving closer to allowing food trucks to operate in the township boundaries. At this week's regular meeting, trustees heard from the Planning Commission's Mark Florian that the body decided food trucks could operate under the same rules as peddlers, which are governed by police ordinance. Therefore, the township is going to start setting up a permitting process to allow food trucks to start operating there.
Where they can come in, just like a peddler does, seek a license for $25 to be able to offer their services, basically.
Florian said having a permitting process for food trucks will enable the township to keep on track. He said he wants to avoid a situation where several trucks show up at a park on a Saturday in the summer and start selling hot dogs without anyone's permission. So he envisions something a little more orderly.
What we're talking about is situations where the likes of a Tractor Supply, for example, decides that they'd like to have some additional attendance perhaps at their whatever event they might be having, and they allow a food vendor to come in and sell food to the public.
Township planners realized last year Lincoln Township doesn't currently allow food trucks when they were contacted by a vendor who found they were unable to operate in the community. The Planning Commission has been working on the issue ever since. Florian told trustees on Tuesday this week that the permit fee would be between $15 and $25, depending on how much work they are for staff. Trustees approved the fee. Michael Brown voted no. He said there should be more simplicity in the process for food truck operators. Other news, Buchanan City Commissioners are considering their options for covering a $1.5 million shortfall in a major downtown infrastructure project. At the city's meeting this week, financial consultant Andy Campbell told commissioners that the $19.4 million project to replace water and sewer lines, streets, sidewalks, and lights downtown is slated to begin in the spring. However, a USDA low-interest loan obtained by the city will only cover a portion of the work.
USDA funding, which is a low-interest loan for your community, only takes care of the water and sewer aspects. You have roads that they don't fund, you have sidewalks that they don't fund, and other assets in the downtown infrastructure that need to be taken care of.
Campbell said the city will be responsible for that part of the project, leaving it with an obligation of about $2.9 million. They still have some other monies coming in. They've already allocated $300,000 from the general fund, and it's considering putting in about $213,000 more. Plus, it's secured about $900,000 in grants, leaving the $1.5 million shortfall. Campbell said the project goes back to before 2020, and things have changed since then, including the price of everything.
Inflation's gone up a lot, so you guys are dealing with a lot of inflation just like everybody else is, and construction costs have skyrocketed.
Campbell added that cities across Michigan did not maintain their infrastructure properly for decades, leaving many like Buchanan with needs like this. He told commissioners they could seek a $1.5 million bond over 15 years to cover the shortfall, or they could take out more of the city's general fund, but they didn't like that idea. Commissioners made no decision at this week's meeting and committed to making one soon. And finally, calls at the federal level to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education have raised concerns about how it might affect local school programs if that happens. However, Berrien Reese Superintendent Eric Hopstock is assuring teachers, parents, and administrators that schools should not face any immediate issues, at least for the rest of the academic school year.
The first thing about the last couple of weeks was to really work with even our staff to say, the funds for this year have already been allocated. They've already been sent. They're already in our hands. So relax. Those things are really issues that will come into play as we move into next school year.
Many parents have expressed concern regarding the future of the free and reduced lunch programs. Hopstock notes that 72% of students in Berrien County qualify for the programs and emphasize that if the federal government chooses to reduce funding, that'll fall on the state to cover the shortfall.
And there's a lot of questions we just don't know. For example, okay, if the feds just say, we're not going to manage it anymore, we're just going to send it to the states. Well, who are our states going to then do that? They're busy people, they're short-staffed, so it could slow money down, and we're going to figure this out, but it's not something that we're panicking about today.
Hopstock says regardless of what happens with the department, districts will continue to educate students here in Berrien County, even if that means adjusting and adapting. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom this morning. We have more to talk about, and in fact, we're going to start an interview right now with some individuals from Bridgman. They're the Beebotics team, the Beebotics Robotics team. They're going to be competing in FIRST Robotics. That competition is coming up in March in St. Joseph and in Berrien Springs. But first, it's part of our Robotics Roundtable that's brought to you by Cook Nuclear Power Plant and Lake Michigan College. And we're pleased to bring you some interesting insights, we think, about what's happening with robotics. And so let's do a quick roundtable introduction just so people can see or hear who's in the room. And then we'll get to sports here on the radio, and then we'll continue our interview on the video live stream. So why don't we start here on my left? Yeah, just give me your name and your grade and your role with Beebotics.
My name is Kyle Kading. I'm a junior.
Okay.
And I'm the team captain, so I get to drive the robot, but I've also done a little bit of coding, wiring, build and design.
Did you have to compete for team captain? Was it a vote?
I'm the only veteran kid on the team, and I was one of the main reasons why the team was started.
I like that. Okay, we'll look forward to learning more about that. Next.
I'm Levi Thomas, and I'm lead technician.
Okay, and what's your role in that? Yeah.
I'm in freshman.
Okay.
And my role is pretty much making sure the robot is able to drive.
Okay. So does that have to do with like the transmission and wheels turning and stuff like that?
Well, if Kyle breaks it, I have to fix it pretty much.
I love it. How often does he break it?
I don't know. Not yet.
Can't count that many times.
I don't break it as much as they all say.
Okay. All right. And then over here off camera, but still on the microphone, your name and role, please. You don't have to say what grade you're in.
Oh, that's good. I'm Jason Kading.
Here, can you pull the microphone? Yeah, just be up on the microphone there. Okay.
I'm Jason Kading, and I am lead mentor.
Okay. My apologies. I've got a microphone issue over there, but we'll get you introduced here in just a moment. So we'll continue this interview on our video live stream in just a moment. We've got sports, local sports with Dave Wolf, but we're going to continue our robotics roundtable right now on the WSJM live stream.
The Bulls hosting the Pistons on back-to-back nights. And while this...
Okay, so I've got the students here. Why am I not hearing Jason over there? So this is some of the behind-the-scenes content that people get is when I screw up the buttons. So let me make sure I'm doing this right. Guest number 3. Oh, I see what happened. I pushed one of my buttons. While I'm doing this, while I'm resetting the microphone over here, why don't we start with our team captain? Kyle, you said that you are a veteran at this and that you're the only veteran on the team. Tell us a little bit more about your background and your experience. Where have you done robotics before?
So for the last 2 years, I was on another team that was 3 towns away.
Which team? Which town?
The Robotarians at Coloma.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. How was that? Did they do well in FIRST Robotics?
Yeah, I was their driver both years. And last year they went to Worlds.
Worlds?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So were you part of that team?
Yeah, I was their driver.
For the Worlds?
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and where was that held?
It was held in Houston, Texas, and as you probably would expect, it was nerve-wracking, but we ended up doing pretty good. We were 16th.
16th in the world?
In our field.
Okay.
And there were 8 fields in Worlds.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I think I got it. Jason, can you give me a level check over there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, you got a radio voice. Listen to that. Okay. I want to continue on this question, though. So you went to Worlds last year, and for those who don't know what FIRST Robotics is, what is FIRST Robotics? Explain it to somebody who's never been to a competition.
First Robotics is a competition for high schoolers across the world. So,
Yeah.
like in Europe and Americas. And each year in January, you're given a game, and many countless hours go into studying the game and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do the game and try and do the best you can.
Yeah, and so the game this year, it's called Reefscape.
Yeah.
What is Reefscape? What is the challenge this year?
So this year we have to score coral and algae. So algae is like a 16-inch diameter green ball,
Okay.
and coral is a 4.5 diameter PVC pipe.
Oh, okay.
And we have to place the coral onto this series of on the reef, which is like a series of pegs that you have to place on. And there's level 1, which is just like a trough.
Yeah.
L2, L3, which are in the middle, just like
Yeah.
slightly at an angle. There.
Probably more difficult to be putting
Yeah.
that on. Okay.
And then there's L4, which is the high ones, one you score the most off of, and it's straight vertical.
Now, I don't know how much and this is my first time interviewing robotics teams, so I don't know how much you want to give away about how you're preparing, but I'm going to start asking questions. Anything that you don't want to answer that you think will give away a competitive advantage, say, Ken, that's going to give away a competitive advantage, and just don't tell me, okay? Because, millions and millions of people, I'm sure, are watching this broadcast right now. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, we'll bring this back to the radio, and I'll be right back and ask more questions in just a moment, right here on WSJM.
This afternoon was sun, and temperatures will drop down to around 18 to 20 this afternoon, all the way down to 3 tonight, and sunshine and 25 as we head into tomorrow. Our next chance of heavier snow rolls in Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Okay. I think I've figured out my microphone issue, Jason, so I think we're good to go.
Perfect.
Sorry about that. All right, it's 7:19. It's the WSJM Morning Show. For those of you who have been watching on the video live stream, we've just begun our interview. It's Robotics Roundtable. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College and Cook Nuclear Power Plant. And we're talking about the FIRST Robotics Challenge. It's called Reefscape this year. That's the game that they're going to be playing. And team captain Kyle Kading was just giving us some background, his background in FIRST Robotics, and some of the things that have to go into the challenge. It's all water themed this year. Is there any sonar or LiDAR? Probably LiDAR that's involved in the competition this year.
Well, you can use like a sensor. It's a distance sensor that you can get for free this year.
Okay. It comes in the main kit, the sensor.
Well, they give you a code, you can go.
Okay.
But
all right. And Kyle Kyle Kading is the team captain. Levi Thomas is the lead technician, and they're part of the Beebotics team. So it's in Bridgman. And so Levi is a freshman. So again, introduce your background. When did you get involved in FIRST Robotics? Tell us if you would.
This is my first year. I pretty much learned the basis from my dad.
Yeah.
Because he taught me a lot of the random things like IT people do around like his job.
Okay.
He just brought me into this world.
So he's in IT. So I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was taking apart toasters and shocking myself. I mean, what do you do for fun at home?
I usually design and 3D print some stuff.
Okay. So a little more advanced than taking apart toasters.
Yeah.
So what kind of 3D printing do you do?
I pretty much prototype stuff, like just for fun.
Okay. Is any of that, are you applying any of that in the FIRST Robotics Challenge? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What kind of stuff?
Like end caps to make the robot more safe and stuff like that.
Like that. Okay. So you got into FIRST Robotics. This is your first year. When did you start getting involved? Like a month ago, 6 months ago?
When they started the club up, because it was the first year I was like bored at home, so I
Yeah.
decided to come in and have fun.
That's awesome. And so you have the role of lead technician. So maybe you can describe for people who don't know, what is that role? What are you responsible for?
I'm responsible for making sure the robot is able to run at the competitions, like make sure everything works on the robot.
And how do you, do you have a checklist of what you go through and how you first check it to make sure it's operating and then troubleshoot if it's not?
Not yet. We're still trying to figure that out.
Okay. All right. So, and you've got a competition coming up. It's in March. Is that the first competition?
Yes.
Okay.
It is at Barron Springs, March 14th through 16th.
Okay. So you won't be at the St. Joseph competition, but you'll be at the Berrien Springs competition. Yep. Okay. And then also, thank you for that, Levi. And Jason Kading is the lead mentor for Beebotics. Good morning, and thanks you for joining us. Thanks for bringing these fine young men in.
No problem. It was a fun, slippery ride.
Yeah, to give us a road update, if you would. Are there roads out there?
They weren't bad. There was only one car off the road, but
okay.
And he was quite a ways off the road.
Oh my goodness! Did you come up Red Arrow?
Yeah, I came up Red Arrow.
Okay. Well, so be careful out there because the roadways are still slippery. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of treatment going on, at least in my area.
That's pretty much what we've seen all the way up here.
Okay, maybe they're hoping it's going to melt, but I don't know if they've seen the temperature. It's not going too low. Jason, thank you very much for safely bringing these people in here this morning. But tell us a little bit about your role as the lead mentor for Beebotics.
So my role is when Kyle approached us about starting the team, basically doing all the paperwork to get that happening, filling out grants, working with the school to get a location, which Kyle was the one that secured that for us, working with the principal at the school to get our parts ordered, whatnot, talking to a bunch of sponsors, trying to get our name out there so we can get, a nice robot for these kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. So basically Kyle needed somebody over 18 and you were it.
That was me.
Okay. I love that. What and I will ask for a list of sponsors at some point. So if you don't have that off the top of your head, I would recommend getting it ready.
We have it.
Oh, you have it. Okay. Who wants to tell us and thank the sponsors?
I can do that.
Okay.
So we have Lake Street Eats, Argosy, Tigmaster, the Swab Agency Farm Bureau, Hardings and Bridgman, Dominion Chevrolet, Transient Artesian Ales, Convergix, Artifacts, Getaway Cubby Bar and Grill, Wolverine, Van Seal, Towboat USA, Sign Division, and Landscape Rescue.
That's awesome. Well, thank you to all those great sponsors. Is it all in kind? Are there funding? I mean, I guess what I'm really asking is, do any of them help you put together the robot, or at least provide some of the parts?
Yes, Convergix has been very helpful on that. We have a couple mentors from Convergix. Levi's dad works at Wolverine. They've been doing some 3D printing for us as well.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Jason, for that. And as in your role as lead mentor, in addition to doing the paperwork, do you help with them with the robot design at all? How much can a mentor do, and how much is the team responsible for?
My whole thought on this whole process was the kids should do it, and the mentors should help.
Yeah.
And if we see something they could do differently, we'll bring that up to them and walk through the scenarios and that. But it's really a kid-based driven team. And to me, that's the only way they're going to get full experience.
Yeah, I love that. So if they start putting a flamethrower on there, you are there to say, maybe not. Correct. This time. Okay, very good. It's not part of the challenge. Kyle and Levi, tell us where do you start? I mean, you have experience, Kyle, in other robotics teams, but where do you start when you see this Reefscape challenge? When you saw the challenge being displayed, what were your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was it's going to be a little difficult, but
which parts?
Placing and the end game, which is hanging off a metal cage kind of thing. That one is 3 inches off the ground, and the other is a bit higher. But
so basically, you've got to program the robot, or you have to command the robot to find a place where it's going to elevate itself. It's going to lift itself off the court floor.
Yeah.
And be suspended for how long?
It has to be suspended at least 3 seconds after your robot's been disabled.
Yeah. How so you're going from that angle, and then what do you do? How do you start putting this together? Because I'm just imagining that you have a blank slate of you can put together any robot you want within specifications. What do you do?
Well, we first read the manual and see what we can and can't do, and then based around the game and what we want to do, we design a robot and figure out what we can do and try and get it all working.
How far along is the robot right now?
It's coming. We've made a bit of progress. Our chassis is done.
Okay. Has it moved yet?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good. That sounds like a little bit more than the chassis. How is it powered?
12-volt battery.
Okay. All right. Levi, what are you thinking about the process? How's it going so far?
Pretty good. It's really nice. I never done this thing, but it's just really cool to see everything going together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have are you able to apply? The teachers are making me ask this question. Are you able to apply anything that you've learned in school outside of robotics in what you're doing now?
Not really.
No.
It's literally just learning. You're learning a new thing because
Okay.
they don't really teach you this at my level of school.
Talking about like coding and that kind of thing? Okay.
I've been able to apply a lot of what I've learned because I'm in early middle college.
Okay.
So I'm taking classes at LMC and I'm studying for pre-engineering. So I've been learning engineering design and electricity, and that's been a great help for the robotics team.
It's a good thing you're the captain. That's really cool. So you're a junior in high school right now, but you're taking classes at LMC in engineering. That's pretty cool. That's very good. We're talking with Kyle Kading, Levi Thomas. They're the team captain and lead technician, respectively. Also with Jason Kading, he's the lead mentor for Beebotics. It's Bridgman's robotics team. We're going to continue this conversation right here on WSJM in just a couple of moments. Ask him some more questions about the robotics and how they're thinking about their competition that's coming up in Berrien Springs in mid-March. It's right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be right back with more from Bloomberg. The Financial Minute's coming up, our ABC local and world national news. We'll get the latest local news from our WSJM newsroom and local sports. It's all coming up right here on WSJM.
What would you call a free account that helps you save automatically? Amazing? Incredible?
Okay. How are we doing so far? Is this all right?
Yeah.
What should I be asking you about? What'd you prepare for? Anything?
Not really.
You guys are good. I think, I love the way that you're thinking about this competition of what's the challenge and how are we going to do it? How did you approach, did you approach any differently when you were working with the other team?
On the other team, I wasn't really doing design. I was just building what they told me to do.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to see how it was done.
Yeah.
And so this time you get to direct a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who were the tough teams when you went to Worlds last year?
Oh, there were a lot.
Yeah. And where were they from? Do you remember?
Well, there's some big teams around here, like Strike Force, which I don't exactly know where they're from, but they're in Michigan.
They're
Okay.
in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Are they part of Stryker?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Strike Force. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Then there's Strike Zone, which is also in Michigan.
Okay.
And I think it's Tech Fikes. They were first on their field. There's a lot of really good teams.
Kyle's favorite team is called the Cheesy Poofs, and they're out of San Jose, California.
The Cheesy Poofs out of San Jose.
Yeah, they have the most wins at Worlds.
No kidding. That's amazing. So they have a pretty advanced program there.
Yeah, it's a private school.
Okay. All right. And apparently they're fans of South Park.
They must be.
Okay. Because Cartman, he likes the Cheesy Poofs, right? Okay. Very good. You know it was South Park, right?
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
I love this. Okay. All right. What else, Levi, when you got into this and you didn't know, I assume you didn't know really what to expect. Is it what you expected?
No, it was way more than I expected.
Yeah. How so?
it's a lot more like thinking and doing what you like, doing a lot of measurements and that type of stuff.
Are you able to use, or do you want to use AI as part of any of this?
No,
Is there any application? Okay.
I don't think so.
I mean, you probably could, but with what we have, we don't.
Yeah.
We-
Jason, you look like you had thoughts on that one. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there could be things that we could do with it, but right now, with our budget, not probably going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. The one of the things we were looking at yesterday, the reason I asked that is one of the things I was looking at yesterday is there's already been a new study out on artificial intelligence and how it is diminishing those who use it regularly for their occupation. It's diminishing the ability to critically think,
Right.
Which we thought was the caution all along, and now we know.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing. So no, we're glad to hear that. What else? How many people are on your team?
I think we have like 7 or 8 kids.
We have 7 kids and 7 mentors.
Okay, 7 kids and 7 mentors.
Yeah.
That's great mentor participation. How did that come about?
It really started when I sat down. We went to Lake Street Eats and we had a give back night and started talking there to some of the adults. And the one guy there, he's from Bridgman. He goes, I'd be willing to come in and help. Well, then I started thinking, who else do I know?
Yeah.
And my cousin, he works at Convergix. So Rick Holt, he came in and he's been helping us out. And then we have one of the kids on the team, Vinny. Both of his parents are a mentor. My daughter's a mentor, and my wife's also a mentor.
That's great. That's what are some of the big challenges when you're putting together the robot for this competition?
Well, since we're a rookie team, we don't have a ton of knowledge on everything. So really getting it all working has been one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah. How much? Go ahead.
And the waiting for trying to get sponsorship so we can buy the next part. That's been our biggest struggle. The school was nice enough to give us a facility.
Yeah.
But we had to come up with every dime we've made. So sometimes you got to wait until that money comes in to buy that next piece. And supply has been pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
There's new stuff every week.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe talk a little bit about that and tell us what you need in case there are folks who might want to help out there.
Well, really right now, I feel like the best thing we could get is just funds.
Okay.
We have a lot of the stuff we need right now purchased, but there's always more expenses that just show up that we didn't really think about.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. I've got to get back on the air here, and we're talking with the Beebotics team. Jason Kading is the mentor. Kyle Kading is team captain. Levi Thomas is the lead technician. We'll be back with more in just a moment right here on WSJM.
500 slipped 17. The NASDAQ was essentially little changed. Fed Chair Jay Powell told a House panel the latest consumer price numbers show there is still work to do to tame inflation. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
25 degrees in Benton Harbor right now. Still have some snowfall here and there. 28 degrees in St. Joseph. South Haven is 23 degrees. The winter storm advisory has expired. We do still have some snowfall, and we expect that to continue through today. Some lake effect snow, a 40% chance of lake effect snow showers continuing. Mostly cloudy skies otherwise. A high today around 25, falling into the upper teens by late afternoon. So if you go outside and you think, hey, this isn't bad, I can wear a lighter coat, it's going to get colder as we go through the day. West winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy skies and cold, a low overnight around 3 with winds out of the southeast 10 to 20 miles per hour. So it's going to be windy again. And then Friday, as we head there, it's going to be partly sunny, but then increasing clouds and snow likely. A 70% chance of that snow continuing into Friday night. High around 25, south winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. As we look at the weekend, still a chance of precipitation throughout, but Saturday is going to be the messy one. About a 70% chance of rain, freezing rain or snow on Saturday. The high is going to be around 35 degrees and the low of 25. We're continuing our conversation with Beebotics. They are the robotics team out of Bridgman. The Bridgman Bees have put together a robotics team, and they're called Beebotics. And some bright young individuals are here today. Jason Kading, he's the lead mentor for Beebotics. Kyle Kading is the team captain. Levi Thomas is the lead technician. We'll continue that conversation with them in just a moment right here on WSJM. First, we've got to get some news, ABC World News Now, and then our local news is next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. At least 28 people have been hurt after a driver drove a vehicle into a crowd in Munich, Germany. The suspect, an Afghan asylum seeker, has been arrested. Hamas now says it will release 3 Israeli hostages as scheduled this week, paving the way toward resolving a major dispute over the Gaza ceasefire. A federal judge granting the Trump administration the green light to move forward with those buyouts for federal workers. However, now it's too late for those who didn't act.
This morning, the window for the more than 2 million federal employees to accept the buyout offer is now closed, as Elon Musk and his Doge team cut the government's workforce under the direction of President Trump. More than 73,000 people accepting that offer before the final email last night.
ABC's Perry Russum. President Trump says he and Russian President Vladimir Putin have agreed to begin negotiations on ending the war in Ukraine. Trump has been non-committal as to whether Ukraine would be an equal participant in talks. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM Newsroom this morning, we'll have this at 8 o'clock. Whirlpool Corporation making some more job cuts. Officials Wednesday confirming another round of layoffs across their administrative ranks. A company spokesperson said the cuts are focused on moving job roles with standard recurring activities in finance, procurement, IT, and human resources to India, Mexico, and Brazil. They say leadership will still be based in Benton Harbor, making the company's strategic decisions. We'll have more on that coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Trump administration announcing a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports into the United States. That can affect Whirlpool Corporation as well, so we'll have a story on that. And then the Michigan High School Athletics Association saying right now it's not going to comply with an executive order signed by President Trump banning student athletes assigned male at birth from competing in girls' sports. So we'll tell you a little bit more about what's happening with that at the state level in just a few moments. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We're continuing our interview. It's the Robotics Roundtable. That continues on our video live stream in just a moment right here on WSJM.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher, northbound U.S.
All right. Welcome back to the video live stream. It is the WSJM Robotics Roundtable brought to you by Lake Michigan College and Cook Nuclear Power Plant. We were talking as I was getting ready to do news, and Kyle Kading is the team captain. You thought that there was something additional you could talk about?
About like starting the team.
Yeah, because it sounds like from your father, from Jason, he who's the lead mentor for the team. It sounds like pretty much you're driving the whole thing, bringing it to Bridgman, bringing the team into reality, and then guiding the team with newcomers who are excited to be part of it, like Levi, into existence. So tell us about that.
So I was on a team 2 years, and last year Watervliet, they started their own team, and so I thought, why not Bridgman? Because the co-op team I was on was like 3 towns away, and I would go 6 days a week because I was really interested in robotics. And in weather like this, it was especially hard to get down there, but I'd still go. But I talked to the Watervliet lead mentor, Mr. Kent, and he put me in contact with the president of First in Michigan. And from there, we did what she said, and we started a team.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Did you have a lot of interest right off the bat from your friends?
It's been slow going.
Yeah.
But before he started bringing it to the kids, he actually went through all the administration and got it approved through the school because we needed our school support to start a team. So
yeah, that's great. And administrators were pretty supportive of this.
Yeah,
I imagine.
A couple of days we had a yes.
That's great. What does it take to put that team together? I mean, basically time and money?
Time and money. And as a rookie team through First, there's a lot of grants. And that with those grants, those will pay for our first 2 competitions. And then if you make it to states and worlds, if you're lucky enough to do that, that's a big added expense that they don't pay for.
So maybe detail that for us. When you're talking about paying to get to some of these competitions, what does that look like? How much is that, and what is it paying for?
So it pays basically to get our foot in the door and a spot on the field for us to compete. So just between two competitions, we've shelled out over $6,000 just to attend.
Wow, that's great.
And the funny thing is, in my eyes, everybody asks me, so what's the award that you win at the end of it?
Yeah.
What's the prize? What's that money cap? There's no money cap. It's a trophy or a banner or whatever like that, and pride for the kids.
Yeah. Have you been to a competition before?
Yes, I've been to Worlds twice.
Okay.
Once with my daughter, once with my son. My daughter had college last year, so she couldn't attend last year.
So she was on the robotics team as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're breeding a whole pack of robotics folks. You know what the future is.
Yep. My seventh grader's on the team as well.
Okay. All right. And so when you talk about your children in robotics, why do you feel like they're so engaged in this?
They've always had a passion for stuff like that. So my daughter really wanted to be on a team, and when my wife searched out many years ago a team, I went kind of with her every day and just started helping out. And then I became a mentor with the other team, and then stepped out to do this one.
Your daughter, when now that she's in college, what's she studying? Is she going to go into this field, do you think?
She graduated from LMC not too long ago in mechatronics, which is in the field. So
mechatronics, what is that?
Something with engineering is all I know. I don't know the exact.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Do you know what mechatronics is?
I just know it's in the field.
It's in the field. Okay. I could probably look it up. I can probably Google it. But so she's continuing to study that field.
So far she has, yeah.
Okay. All
you
right.
know, who knows what the future brings, but she's been a big help on the team. She's got experience, so she can help with the build.
Very nice. That's great. Anything else on the mentorship? Anyone who's thinking about volunteering or becoming a mentor, any advice or any thoughts?
You know, I'd say grab the bull by the horns and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been rewarding.
Yeah. It's fun watching the kids actually work on the robot. Levi and Kyle spent 3 days and trying to get the robot to drive, and they worked countless hours. And the moment that robot drove, if I would have had a camera, it would have been awesome.
Pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's still driving today, even though you keep breaking it, Kyle. I'm just kidding. That's what Levi said. So no. All right. Let me ask you this. What do you do in your downtime when you're not doing schoolwork, when you're not building a robot? What are you two doing?
A lot of the time I actually am researching stuff for robotics and watching like other teams on Open Alliance showing their progress towards their robot.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a lot of help towards the robotics team.
That's great. What about you, Levi?
I pretty much designed like 3D print stuff.
Okay. So you're both very focused on where you're at. That's great to see, especially when we think about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts. How there's been such a focus on that to get people interested in it, getting more of that for our communities in our country, and so that's great. So we appreciate that. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna get a quick weather forecast, and then we'll wrap up the interview if that's all right. We'll make sure maybe we'll mention the sponsors one more time. So we'll get that right here on WSJM.
Time, 7 days a week, and our certified technicians have years of experience. They're some of the best in the business. We really care about your comfort and the quality of our work, and we promise to get you up and running again quickly and professionally. And if you ever need to replace your heating, we'll find every rebate and incentive available to help you save on a new high-efficiency system. There's nothing worse than having a problem with your heating system just when you need it most. Trust Belkey. We're here to help when you need us.
Cloudy skies with lake effect snow showers for the start of today. We could see up to a fresh inch of accumulation. We'll start to clear out this afternoon with sun, and temperatures will drop down to around 18 to 20 this afternoon, all the way down to 3 tonight, and sunshine and 25 as we head into tomorrow. Our next chance of heavier snow rolls in Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:46, and snow. It looks like it's tapered off in Benton Harbor right now for the moment. It's 26 degrees in Benton Harbor, 28 in St. Joseph, 24 in South Haven, snowing, and 21 degrees in Dowagiac right now. The feels like in Dowagiac, it's 21 degrees as well. But we as we mentioned in the weather forecast, it's just going to continue to get colder today. But heating up right now, it's Robotics Roundtable. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College Cook Nuclear Power Plant. We're pleased to bring you some fine young individuals who are building a robot for the Bridgman competition. Is it the Bridgman High School? You'd say Beebotics.
Yeah.
And this is the only robotics team that they've ever had. You started the first one.
The only high school one.
The only high school one. Okay.
They have a first Lego League, which is the elementary and early middle school one.
Okay. Did you help them start that as well?
No.
Okay. All right. Because Kyle's really been the brain trust behind this, and he's a veteran at the robotics competitions. But his father Jason is the lead mentor for Beebotics. But and then Levi Thomas is the lead technician for the team. So one of the things we were talking about again is let's make sure that we thank our sponsors. Before we do that, let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And during our Moody on the Market updates, we talk about three different things. We talk about business updates. We talk about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know. And I think we hit at least two of those three categories, maybe all three. By talking with you today, primarily interesting people you should know. So thank you again for coming in, and thanks for putting yourself out there for First Robotics. But let's talk a little bit about your sponsors. As you mentioned, it's what, $6,000 for the competition so far,
Yep.
And that's not even to mention if you go to nationals or world, right?
Right, and that doesn't even include what we have spent on the robot.
What you've spent on the robot already, which is, and how much does the robot weigh, by the way? Do we know yet? Do you have an estimate?
Max weight is 135, including bumpers. I believe last we weighed, it was like 70, 75.
Okay. So everything you put on it, all the functionality, everything else, it adds.
That it does.
Okay. All right. Who do you want to thank sponsor-wise for helping you get that money together and put that robot together?
We would like to thank Lake Street Eats, Argosy, Tigmaster, the Swab Agency, Hardings and Bridgman, Dominion Chevrolet, Transient Artesian Ales, Convergix, Artifacts, Getaway Cubby Bar and Grill, Wolverine, Van Seal, Towboat USA, Sign Division, and Landscape Rescue.
That's a great list of sponsors. And how did you get those sponsors?
Just by talking to people I know in the community.
Yeah.
The kids have been knocking on doors as well, sending out emails, just picking up the phone and calling. So that's what we've been doing.
Hard work, getting the word out, and you're still looking for additional anyone who's interested in supporting. Maybe you're from the Bridgman community and you want to support your First Robotics team. How can they get in touch with you?
We have a Facebook and Instagram, and that's Beebotics. We also have a Gmail account, which is also Beebotics, and they can email or contact us on any of those.
Okay, great. What else? Anything else that you want to mention today? Thanks and appreciation.
Well, we'd really like to thank the Watervliet team, Pantron X, for their hand in helping start our team by putting us in contact with the people needed to actually make this a reality.
Yeah. Does that open a door for an alliance at a competition?
Well, that's a lot of that is people are picking based on what works well with their alliance.
So you want to see their robot before you decide?
Yes.
Okay. All right. For those of you who know the robotics, the Alliance is apparently a really exciting period of time. Can you explain it just real quick? What is the Alliance and what part of the competition is that?
So after you do your qualification matches, they take the top 8 teams and they have them pick in order. So like Alliance 1, they can pick whichever alliance they want. And if they decline, they can't be picked again. So they pick an alliance of 3 and then they go off to playoff matches.
And the benefit of that alliance is maybe you partner up with a team that their robot does something well that maybe yours doesn't do. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Well, we look forward to following Beebotics as you get ready for the March matches and everything else. When is your first match again? It's in Berrien Springs?
It's March 14th through 16th.
Okay. Yeah, in Berrien Springs.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Beebotics, if you want more information about them, you can check out their Facebook, their Instagram. They have an email contact information connected to those if you are potentially in or outside of the Bridgman area and you want to help sponsor them. We have a number of great teams in Southwest Michigan. We'll keep rotating them through here, bringing them on the air each week as part of Robotics Roundtable. Again, it's brought to you by Lake Michigan College and by Cook Nuclear Power Plant. So thank you very much, Jason, Kyle, and Levi, for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to say a quick goodbye to the folks on the video live stream, so stick around for that if you wouldn't mind. But this has been part of our Moody on the Market update as well, which is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today for your local auto or insurance agency needs. They're in St. Joseph and in Niles, and we'll be right back here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Mark Patrick Seminars is coming to Benton Harbor on Tuesday, March 11th.
Okay. Was this what you expected? Not too bad, not too painful, right?
No, it was kind of fun.
We did okay. Anything else that you wanted to mention? Am I getting you out of school at least a little bit today?
Yeah.
Is that a pleasure?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, good. I appreciate you. How do you any of you play video games?
Yeah.
What do you play?
Minecraft and Terraria and Valorant.
Okay. I know the Minecraft. I don't know the others. What about you?
Valorant, like him.
Okay. All right. Good. And for those who might not know the robots, they have similar controllers, right?
Yeah, we're using a Xbox controller.
Okay. How are you able to program that? What does that look like?
Well, we take the input of the controller and tell our drivetrain what to do. You're more programmed.
Come on, Levi, give us your secrets.
Well, basically, we take a couple lines of code and just put them into the program we're using. And basically, we say import new Xbox controller. That gets it's the okay that is accepted. And we just write a line of code like to port 0 or port 1, like that.
So essentially, the frequency that the Xbox controller is broadcasting on. You're able to capture that in the robot. Okay, so if somebody's playing Minecraft and off to the side, and you're controlling your robot, some bad things are going to happen, or vice versa.
No.
Okay.
They're on different frequencies.
Okay. All right.
So at competitions, they do ban you from using hotspot just because that can interfere with their stuff.
Okay. So no hotspots. How do you in radio control competitions, they have, I think, certain frequency chips that they're on. How does it work with so many robots in one place?
Well, in little smaller competitions around here,
yeah,
like Berrien Springs and others, it won't be that bad. But when you get to states and worlds, there can be a little bit of input delay just because there's so many robots on at the same time.
That might be a little frustrating. Input delay. No?
Yeah, they make it pretty good, but
okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
At the beginning, it can be kind of bad, but it smoothens out kind of.
Good. Okay. All right. I've got to give us back on the radio here, so we're going to do that in just a moment. But thank you again for coming in today. We appreciate you, and be safe out there on the roadways, okay?
Definitely. Thanks for having us.
You bet. All right. We'll be back in a minute with more on the WSJM Morning Show.
No job too small. You're putting your trust in us to work on your biggest investment. So at Lakefront Roofing, we treat your home like it's our home.
Legitimate license, Lakefront Roofing and Exteriors. Contractors you can count on.
Visit lakefrontroof.com.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web design done, web sticks.
If you're running a business or maybe a nonprofit,
Okay, thanks for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got a couple more things we've got to do here. And I love the robotics, especially the first robotics competitions and the themes that they have. The Beebotics team has, again, a Facebook and an Instagram feed. So if you want to see more about what they're all about, check them out. I'm definitely going to go follow them and see how they do in the competition. Again, their first competition is going to be at Berrien Springs in mid-March, but the weekend before that, there's going to be a competition at St. Joseph High School. And these are free competitions to go in and see. It's really actually quite interesting. And if you've never been to one, what you can expect, it's just like a basketball playoff game, except 10 times more exciting. So we'll have that coming up. More Robotics Roundtable next week here on WSJM. We'll be right back.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun to have the robotics teams in here. And that was our first. We're going to have more as the weeks go by on Robotics Roundtable. Again, we thank Beebotics for making time and coming in, and for the lead mentor, Jason Kading, to bring his team, part of his team, in to talk with us. We heard from team captain Kyle Kading and team lead technician Levi Thomas. So thanks again, young men, for doing what you do and just bringing your smarts in here. That was really fun. All right. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about this morning as well, we'll have ABC News in just a moment with our local news following, but Joann Fabrics, this was on our moodyonthemarket.com as well. More bad retail news for Berrien County. Joann Fabrics store on M139 in Benton Township is now targeted for closure. That's under the bankruptcy recovery plan that was just filed in federal court this week. The local store is one of 33 stores in Michigan that's now slated for closure. That's according to court documents uncovered by a Traverse City television station, then confirmed by Cranes Grand Rapids in stories this week. Shutdown of the local Joann outlet is somewhat surprising, given the fact that only recently they relocated to that new, larger headquarters in the center along M139 after leaving the Orchards Mall as one of the final tenants there. So Joann Fabrics, again, as part of their bankruptcy recovery plan, closing one of the 33 stores that is closing in Michigan. That just announced this week. We have more on that. We'll bring it to you in just a couple of moments right here on WSJM. We've got local news coming up next, but the forecast for today, you're looking at it, mostly cloudy skies and a chance of that lake effect snow showers sometimes throughout the day. We've already had some snow, but it's tapered off for the moment, at least in Benton Harbor. High around 25 degrees today, falling into the upper teens by late afternoon. So we're going to be on a decline today as the temperature goes. West winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, cold, low around 3 overnight, and southeast winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday's forecast, partly sunny, increasing clouds. Snow chance tomorrow is pretty high, 70% chance. And then into Friday night, looking at a south winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with a high around 25 degrees. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got another hour of news to follow in just a moment. Right now, the latest from ABC News. It's 8 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump taking the first international.
All right. Thank you for joining on the video live stream. You have a great day as well, and we appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Ukraine having to give up territory.
What he's going to have to do